Today on Basically Court TV.
And when Mr. Connors opened the casket, my father was not in the casket.
Who was in the casket?
There was another body in the casket.
So basically, I bought a car from Mr. Bowman at Greg Bowman and used car dealership. But on the 16th day, I was driving up 7585 North, and the engine fell out of the car.
This is the case of Hand versus Connors Funeral Home. Mr. Hand, why are we here?
I chose Connors Funeral Home to bury my father. We had a wait. They had my father dressed as nice as I've ever seen in my life. So my mom chose not to show the body until after prayer during the funeral.
Okay, now the funeral is the next day, correct?
Yes.
Okay, continue. Go ahead.
But the next day, when we got there, my grandma was the first one to be at the casket when it was open. And when Mr. Connors opened the casket, my grandma completely passed out. My father was not in the casket.
What do you mean your father wasn't in the casket? Who was in the casket, Ms. Hand?
There was another body in the casket.
Whoa, wait a second. Your father wasn't in the casket? You're saying it was another gentleman in the casket?
There was another gentleman in the casket.
Okay, so Mr. Connors, Mr. Hand is telling me that it was another body in the casket that wasn't his father. Do you want to elaborate on this?
Yes, Jan. What happened? They both ordered gold caskets.
Who was they both?
The young gentleman that's here right now and Mr. Williams. And they both ordered gold caskets with the silver bar. And they kind of look alike. They look like they was brothers.
Mr. Connors, are you saying that your company, Connors Funeral Home, mixed up the bodies after the wake? So for the funeral, you guys had a switch up?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
where's his father now? Where's Hand Senior? Where's his father now?
His father is on his way to North Carolina for a second.
Why is his father on his way to North Carolina for a second service? Why?
Because we had a mix-up, Your Honor.
So the Williams family, when is their funeral scheduled, and who's going to be present for the Williams family if Mr. Williams is not there?
They both just gonna have two different families there.
Mr. Connors, this is
Yes.
the worst. This is the worst, most despicable thing I've ever heard of. How long have you guys been in business, Mr. Connors?
We've been in business for 40 years.
And is this the first time a mix-up like this has happened before, Mr. Connors?
No, this is actually the third time, Your Honor.
Mr. Connors.
But you gotta understand, Your Honor, since the coronavirus coming, we got bodies coming in here like you don't know what.
I'm lost. Hold on.
Your Honor.
Hold on, Mr. Connors. So, Mr. Hand, are you guys having a second service in North Carolina for your father?
Man, I don't even know nobody in North Carolina. That's the thing. There was no second service. We were only supposed to have the one service at Connors Funeral Home.
Okay, so Mr. Connors, hold on. So you apparently did a mix-up with the bodies, right?
Yes. Yes.
So Mr. Hand Senior is on his way currently to North Carolina for a service that's not his.
True, Jan. To make the family happy, I offered them this urn right here.
You offered me an urn with somebody else's ashes in it.
I mean, my hands is tied right now. What
do you mean your hands is tied? This is my dad. This is the last time I'll see my dad. And all you can do is smile at me.
Calm down, young man. Calm down.
What do you mean, calm down? Who does that? Who offers somebody an urn with somebody else's ashes in it? First of all, who loses a body?
All right. You know, there was 2 gold caskets, you know, and your father and the other body, they were similar.
Hi guys, this is Gina Nash, field reporter for Basically Court TV. As we're watching these cases unfold here today, we have many chiming in with their opinions on the case, such as Jessica C. saying, "Take that urn and shove it." And then Memphis DJs on Twitter is stating, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." Oh my God, sorry about that. It just does not look good for the defendant. Just have to check it out and wait and see. Back to you, Judge.
Okay, so Mr. Hand, you're telling me that the wake was on Wednesday, May 26th, and during the wake, your father was actually present in the casket, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you're saying at the actual services, which was held on Thursday, May 27th, that there was a mix-up and that your father wasn't in the coffin, but it was yet another gentleman.
Yes, there was another body in the casket that wasn't my father. Because my father looked so good on Wednesday, my mom decided to wait until the funeral to show everybody how good he looked. So everybody could have the best picture of my father in his passing.
Right.
I waited, let my grandmom went first. As soon as they opened the casket, she fell out.
Your grandmother fell out?
out.
You saying she fell out because it wasn't your father in the coffin?
She passed out because it wasn't her son in the casket.
Mr. Connors, was you present during the services?
Yes, I was present. But from what I understand, that she had just did dialysis the day before.
What does his grandmother having to have dialysis have to do with the mix-up in the bodies in the coffin, Mr. Connors?
Because when they go through the dialysis, from what I understand, they get really weak and it takes a lot from you.
Mr. Connors, no, Mr. Connors, no. So my issue with you and your company, Mr. Connors, is not only is this the 3rd time you've done this, you seem to have no empathy towards the family in their time of bereavement.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? How, Mr. Connors, how are you trying to rectify the situation? The Hands are trying to bury their loved one, and you have their loved one on his way to North Carolina for a second service that doesn't even belong to him.
Your Honor, I offered him this urn that somebody didn't pick up. I mean, what else am I going to do?
Somebody else's family member? Somebody else is about to have a funeral with missing their loved ones. You got a double mix-up here. And all Willie Watkins Jr. III right here can say to me is, here's an urn.
What else you want me to do?
Man, I want my daddy, man. That's not my daddy. What would you do if this was in you? I mean, I just don't.
You got to understand, this is somebody's daddy. This is somebody's daddy.
We're talking about my daddy. I don't care nothing about nobody else's daddy. What would you do if this was your father?
I take the urn.
Take the urn? Who's in the urn?
I think that's Clarence. Clarence is in here.
Clarence? What is Clarence's last name?
Clarence Miller.
The kind of way you can find my father.
Your father is on his way to North Carolina right now. And
telling me I got to take my family to North Carolina to bury my father?
No, I'm not telling you that, young man. What I'm saying is, all right, the family that sent it to North Carolina, they had more flowers. So your father wound up getting a lot of flowers.
I ain't got nothing about no flowers. Man, we paid $9,000 to bury my father. What is $500 earned? I tell you what, if I ever catch you out of that funeral home, I'm gonna make your bottom teeth look like your top.
Young man, calm down.
Okay, so Mr. Connors, you in your funeral home, you're offering Mr. Hand urn from another family that you say failed to show up to pick up their loved one's remains?
We don't return refunds. There's no refunds. So the only thing that I can do is give you this urn, son. That's all I can do, and my deeply apology for this mistake. It's a horrible mistake.
So, Mr. Hand, first let me offer my condolences to you and your family during this time of bereavement for your loss of your father.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. Now, Mr. Connors, you on the other hand, you've mixed up two bodies. You've caused a division in two different families who are both mourning in this time of bereavement. And the best you can offer the Hands is an urn of another family.
Yes, Your Honor. That's all I can do, Your Honor.
Mr. Connors, regardless of how many bodies you have coming in and out of your establishment, you guys have agreed to take care of the loved ones, the remains of these guys' loved ones. Mr. Connors, enough. I've heard enough, Mr. Connors. And you guys have mishandled what is supposed to be a monumental day for both of these families, not just Mr. Hand, but for both of these families, the Hands and the Williams, Mr. Connors.
I understand.
You guys have ruined the last viewing for their loved one. They're never going to get a chance to see their father, their uncle, their cousin, their brother, their son again, Mr. Connors. And from the looks of things, you've expressed no compassion, no empathy, no anything, Mr. Connors.
I'm deeply sorry, and I apologize for this mistake. I really do. And
Mr. Connors, you know what? I hear you, Mr. Connors, but your apology and your lack of, like I said, your lack of compassion is not enough right now. So therefore, I am ready to make my ruling, and I am going to rule in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Hand, and his family for the total amount that they're suing you for of $9,000. Plus, I will award them another $6,000, which will put them at the max that this court can issue. So that's going to be a total of $15,000 awarded to the Hands.
$15,000? But now he can't get the urn now. Now he can't get I'll keep the urn.
Man, you keep the urn, man. I don't want no urn.
Instead of just giving these companies your business based off of proximity and family tradition, how about you start holding them to a higher level of standard? Rule number 1, understand the value and the power of your dollar. Rule number 2, don't be afraid to withhold that very same dollar if the customer service doesn't match the criteria in which you expect. After all, there should be a certain level of quality that comes with the service when you're paying for it. Now, as always, remember, it's not how you start, but how you finish.
All right, this is the case of Palmer versus Bowman. Soul Me a Lemon. Palmer versus Bowman. Okay, guys, I've read your complaints. Why are we here?
So basically, I bought a car from Mr. Bowman at Greg's Bales Bonds and Used Car dealership. Spent $2,500 for a 2004 Grand Marquis. It looked like it was a car to get me from A to B. It looked fine. I drove off the lot, a couple miles down the road. The tire went flat. A couple days later, the alternator went out, and I thought, used car,
okay,
no big deal.
So when these things happen, did you give Mr. Bowman a call to let him know that the alternator went out, that you had bad tires?
No, I just figured it was time. But on the 16th day, I was driving up 75-85 North, and the engine fell out of the car. I was driving on the highway, and the engine fell out from underneath the vehicle onto the highway, scattered, broke, and I had to somehow get from the middle lane all the way over to the right to leave the car. I was scared to death, Your Honor.
So what you're saying is the day after the warranty, the engine fell out of the car.
Correct.
These things happen. An engine fell out of an airplane and was flying over Texas last week.
Mr. Bowman, in your words, tell me what happened.
Right off the bat, she's lying. She gave me $2,800, not $2,500 for that car. Yeah, I told her if anything happens, bring it back in 15 days. She went driving off, happy-go-lucky. I did offer her an extended warranty for an additional $500. If she would have paid that, it would have been good for 6 months instead of 15 days. I thought she was smoking weed at the time. I don't know. I smelled something funny. And now she's trying to sue me because the engine fell out of the car. Well, how's that happen? I mean, where
I don't.
do
You tell me. You're the dealer. You tell me you're the dealer.
So, Ms. Palmer, so you're saying that you was driving the car up 75 North and the engine fell completely out of the vehicle.
Correct.
Like it wasn't rattling. Okay. And
Sorry.
At this point of the engine falling out of the car, how many days had you had the car?
16 days.
Well, I'm glad I got her to sign that warranty. I can tell you that because 15 days is all I give anybody at Greg's bail bonds and used car lot.
Sounds like a setup to me. Like you guys are using plastic nails or something.
So
you can't program something to fall apart in 16 days, maybe 6 months. 16 days, no way.
Ms. Palmer, did you have the car inspected before you purchased the car? Before you left the lot with the car? Like,
it was inspected. It was inspected by them. He came recommended by a friend. I was trusting him on the inspection. I feel like it was a whole scam.
So where's the car now?
It's at my mechanic's. I took it to my mechanic.
Okay, well, Ms. Palmer, unfortunately,
I submitted some pictures to you of the engine that fell out of the, how it all looked on the highway. I've submitted some pictures to you.
Okay, I want to look at these pictures. Wow, this is bad.
Hey guys, it's Gina Nash, field reporter for Basically Court TV. As we're watching these cases unfold here today, we have many chiming in with their opinions on the case, such as Missy H7 on Twitter. She's weighing in with saying, that dealership name says it all. And then Tommy from Facebook, you get what you pay for. This case is very crazy, Judge. It doesn't look good for the plaintiff. Let's check it out and see. Back to you, Judge.
So it's amazing, and it's a wonder that nobody was hurt. Okay, so Mrs. Palmer, unfortunately, you did sign the agreement, the contract, stating that it was only a 15-day warranty, and you're asking for what, $2,500? Is that what you?
I want the price of the vehicle back. Yeah, I want.
And the car, and the vehicle is where now?
It's at my mechanic.
It's still with your mechanic.
Yeah,
well,
I don't even know what to do with it. I mean, I'm not gonna put a new engine in it, you know?
All right, so Mr. Bowman, is there anything or any way possible that you guys can come to something amicable of, your company get with her and, offset this cost?
I mean, there might be something we could do. My daddy always said there's no lesson like a bought lesson. And, you're going to pay the price for that. If she can get that car back to my lot, get the engine up off the highway, I'll have my boys put it back in the car, get that thing running. Only costs her another $500.
Ms. Palmer?
I don't even know what to say at this point. The engine fell out of the car. It's not like a part broke off or something. The engine fell out of the car. I don't know how I could trust this man to do any repairs in a car that he sold me where the engine fell out.
Well, Ms. Palmer, unfortunately, per your agreement, you signed for a 15-day warranty. Now, had you taken the car back when the alternator went out and brought this to his awareness, then we could possibly look deeper into your case. But in his defense, he had no knowledge of any damage to the car. You drove off the lot and he never seen you again. And he's saying that this is the first time he's hearing of you when you subpoenaed him to come to court.
The problem isn't the alternator and the tire. Like, stuff like that happens on old cars, but the engine falling out of the car is a huge safety problem. It's a big issue. My daughter was in the car with me. Luckily, I was able to get it over to the side of the road. It wasn't a problem. but like he can't. Like this is not appropriate. This is not okay.
So what would, in your words, what would you like to happen? Because as of
I want my money back
case.
for what I want my money back for what I spent on that car.
I'm wondering if there's been any kind of recalls on these cars for engines falling out, because that's a hell of a bad car anyway.
Well, Ms. Palmer, unfortunately, like I said, there's nothing I could do because this didn't happen within the time frame of your warranty. Had this happened the day before, then you'd have a case. But as of right now, you don't have a case, Ms. Palmer.
So if we had gotten in an accident and died, then I would have a case?
No, if you'd gotten in an accident and died, then you'd have to contact your insurance company. Well, someone would have to contact your insurance company because your car would still be, out of warranty.
He needs to be held accountable for what he's selling.
Well, holding him accountable for what he's selling could have potentially happened had you brought him in sooner. But bringing him in after the warranty expired, you don't have a case, Ms. Palmer. So with that being said, I'm going to make my ruling, and I'm going to have to rule in order of the defense.
Thank you, Hunter. And if you ever go to jail, Ms. Palmer, just give me a call. Greg's bail bonds.
You'll be the last person I call.
Dude, I would never go to a place that was a bail bondsman and a car dealer.
Of course.
I have.
Sometimes you have to spend a little more money up front to protect the lifespan of your investment. Be it though we expect everyone to be honest and to do the right thing, it doesn't always work out that way. Just like a boxer, you must protect yourself at all times. Extended warranties can be seen as the gift or the curse. On one hand, if you never use it, it can feel like a waste of money. But on the other hand, if you need it, it can be a blessing in disguise. I like to say, look at it as a form of insurance. No one ever expects to have to use it, but it's nice to have just in case you have to. So as the old saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now remember, it's not how you start, but how you finish.
Do you have a dispute and would like to settle it before our forum? If so, contact us at info@basicallyctv.com. Basically Court TV, where the disputes are somewhat real and everyday disagreements are handled however the judge sees fit.